more stories. Could talk all day for stories about Mom, but some of the ones I remember is when we were little, she was upset with us. She would say, "You guys, you little fishes." And she said that, you knew you were, you better toe the line. I guess as years went on, we realized that Mom was always fairly intelligent. You're aware that she's smart. She knew a lot of things. She tried to teach us, even when we were teenagers, independence. She told us religion was something that she felt we could learn on our own. She didn't try to teach us any religion. She said, if you want to be religious, that's your problem. Or she didn't say that. But anyways, so I'll just touch on a couple of highlights that I remember. Gary Clark, Linda mentioned Gary Clark, him and I were good friends in Penticton. We were probably 18. Finished grade 12, still hanging out at the beaches. That's where the girls are, that's where you go. We come home for supper, because we were always home for supper. That's Dixon trait. And anyways, there was a box of pots and pans in the middle of the kitchen floor, and Mom was cooking, and she had some borders. And I says, "Hey Mom, what's the pots and pans for?" Or "What's the box for?" And she says, "You ever heard that old saying, go west, young man?" And I said, "Yeah." She says, "Well, in this case, let's go north. That's where the work is." And next morning, Gary and I were heading north. First job was in 100 Mile, and then up in Fort St. John in the middle of the winter. And, anyways, and then went on. And Linda mentioned about Mom's loving to debate. We called it, she could debate almost anything. When we were young, my father loved to debate. And then after Father passed away, when I guess I was in my late 20s, and then we came to realize that my father debated quite well because he learned it from my mother. So, and people used to say, if you wanted to argue black, she'd argue white. If you wanted to argue white, she'd argue black. It didn't matter. Just, lots of good stories. My wife and I, Donna, my wife and I, spent different times with my mom, and she was always there, like Linda said. She was always there for the family, even when she couldn't afford it, didn't have the extra money. She helped us, she helped Linda, she helped Jim, she helped Greg in whatever way we could. Don and I, in times we were tough, we were back home living in Mom's basement for a while. We don't tell everybody that, but we were. And I think all of us, plus other people that maybe are here that have been in Mom's house, because she cared for people. She didn't care just for us, she cared for all people. She tried to lead a good life. Teresa? She's lived in Mom's house, and there's probably a couple other here people that have. Dave McGee, one of my best friends from Port Alice Pulp Mill, he ended up, after a serious accident, he couldn't work in a pulp mill anymore, so he moved down to the coast. He ended up staying at Mom's house for about 3 years, I think.
Yes.
About 3 years.
The happy hour years.
Yeah, that's when happy hour was a daily ritual. So, and then when Mom finally got to quitting and started, because all her growing up, when all of us kids were going, she could never travel. She couldn't get out. She was tied to raising the kids. Once she got past that, then she started traveling, and she went on a trip to Peru by herself and another lady friend, I think. She ended up going to China. She just wanted to get out and do things. And I could go on and on and on, but I'm going to give it to somebody else. Thank you for everything. Thank you everybody for coming.
So I think Jim's next up.
Yeah,
I'm volunteering him.
thank you. Mom used to come up to we had a cabin up in the Caribou, and she used to come up there a lot. And she used to help me with a lot of things up there, like burning slash and fixing the cabin. And we actually worked well together, one-on-one. We were just great. In a group, sometimes it was a little tough, but I'll always remember Mom, especially for helping everybody out. Like we say, that house we had in Lynn Valley, it was more or less kind of like revolving door hotel. Whoever needed a place or a handout, to be put up, they were put up in there. So I appreciate all that. Mom did, and she actually sacrificed a lot of what she could have done just to help other people. So I think I really appreciate what that she did for everybody. So that's how I remember my mom.